Hey team, today we're going over rigging the character using an auto rigger. Now the auto rigger of choice that I'm going to use is called Hive Auto Rigger. It's a auto rigging tool made by the creators of Zultools, and I'll have a link in the description that you can go to get more information on that. Alright, so today specifically we're going to be going over the auto rigger, just showing you how to set it up, set the arms up, the spine, the head, how I move the joints, and how I use what's called guides to sort of guide the locations of where the joints are going to be, and then I generate a rig for me to animate. So the reason I'm using this particular auto rigger is the system is set up fairly easy, and it's easy to use, and it's really user friendly. So with that, let's just jump right in and get started. Alright, so the first thing to do in order to use Zultools, I'll need to open up the Hive Auto Rigger, which this is it right here. Once the Hive Auto Rigger is open, this allows me to choose from a template that I can easily just open up, or I can go through each little component as far as like an arm, you know, the torso, the legs, the face, the head, all those separately. Well, not the face is not there yet, but the head and various other parts. You can add in your own IK chains. It comes with a spline to either be FK or IK, and same with the arms. And it also comes when the rig is generated, space switching, FK, IK, match switching, the whole shebang. Alright, so when building the rig, I'm just going to go with the simple template, and I normally I'm going to use this robot template. Just double click on it, and it's roughly the size of my character. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side for now. I want to select my surface mesh icon up here so it turns off, so I won't be accidentally select my mesh while I move these guides. I'm also going to put it in wireframe. Grab the guides, which is right here, the red joints, and I can go ahead and move the joints into position. Got my shoulder, my elbow, and my hand. And I can also do the fingers. This is the clavicle. The only other thing is that one thing I just completely forgot. I usually start off, or I can say the root guide, and put that somewhere in where I want the waist to be. And then I work on one side of the body only, which I want to choose the left side and sort of match up my hips, my knee, and my ankle. Then I can just grab these for the feet, pull them up, make sure that's there, put this one here, and I can just go through and sort of just continue to match all these items up. And see, I have my guides, but once I have half of the my right side and my left side, you can just go in and simply right click and apply symmetry, which will match up the opposite side. Or apply symmetry, down to the same thing. So now I got my left arms and my right and left legs set up. I'm going to, because I already know it's going to happen, I'm going to adjust my head here, the neck component. Also in this view, your rig's not actually set up or anything yet, but you can see where your controllers will be before you even generate the rig. So the little icon here allowed me to do so, and now I can see where my controllers, where they're going to be, and how even big they're going to be. And the same thing applies. So if I go down here to adjust my foot, because it's huge, I want to make sure it's going to be closer to the geometry side of my controller. Sort of shrink down these other controllers. But as I'm working on this and getting the character set up, I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit here and create a skeleton. Oh, this is the beauty about this setup, is I went to create a skeleton, see the skeleton, and I already see a few things that I missed. I forgot to match this foot, and then obviously the fingers, the hands. But I can just go back to guides, and it'll set my joints and everything back to the guides, and I can go ahead and make those adjustments. So if I needed to make this foot match the other, I'm just going to grab this part of the leg and apply symmetry, and it'll just make the other side obviously match. I can go to skeleton. It'll generate the skeleton that I'm going to be using. That's the skeleton, and also throws in a root bone for games. And then I can also click here to make the rig. Now when I click here to make the rig, it makes the rig. Everything can work just like it normal. It's like if I wanted to animate it. The only caveat is it's not finished. This is just the portion of where you can test out the rig to make sure your joints and everything are moving the way you want it to move. And if it is, and if it's good for you, you hit polish, and then that finalizes it. And you can always go back and forth while working on this to sort of change things that you need to update or modify. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a quick skin on this just to sort of show you how it works. So I bind the skin, the character skin is moving around. I see things, I want to move the location of joints. So if I went all the way back to guide, and for say I wanted to move a joint slightly different, like these fingers that are way off. Just gonna go ahead and put these closer. Make sure both of them match. Click any kind of controller and apply symmetry, and it applies the whole thing. So now these both sides match each other. Now I go to skeleton, look at the rig, or look at the skeleton, go back to rig, and now my character still rigged, new joints and new locations. Although the fingers and everything weren't skinned properly, so it probably won't show well. But in a nutshell, that's all can be done with the rigging software and the tool. Now that you've been introduced to an auto rigger, this is the auto rigging system I use for all my work, you can get a better idea of what the beginning stages are. Although I'm not going to teach you specifically how to rig or specifically how to build this particular auto rig, if there's enough interest, enough people needing to know how to use this tool, I will do so. But I have a link below where all the locations for this particular auto rigger is at. The next video will be covering basically the skinning of the character, applying the mesh, or applying the joints to the mesh and get the character skin to get them prepped for game. Alright, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next section.